You are listening to Words Off the Street, Clear for Traffic Edition. Stories from first responders. Stay tuned for your host, BJ Schneider. Hello everybody, welcome to this week's Words Off the Street, Cleared for Traffic Edition. Doing something a little bit different this week. We thought we'd try something out. First of all, we're going to try to start a YouTube channel. We're going to do a few tests and see if it's worth our doing. So we're actually recording video on this show. And why would we do that? Because normally we do different people's stories. Well, we're going to do one of my stories from one of my books this week. But I'm going to read it here and kind of expound and do it over the recorder so it has a little more flair, a little more interest. This is out of my second book, Welcome to New Orleans, The Life You Save May Take Your Own, and I hope you like it. Here we go. Leg Shackles. When I look back on the things I've done as my younger self, I realize how dumb I was, or at the very least, how it looks to me in the rearview mirror. This story is about one of those little things that quickly became less little. As a father that was divorced, I had my daughter with me on every other weekend. We had a lot of fun together, and I think with a little help from me, she's grown up to be an amazing person. I'm, of course, biased. I think everybody would be. The problem is that as a part-time parent, I will admit to having difficulty with certain aspects. Things such as child-proofing my apartment. Hell, it wasn't even adult-proof for that matter. I was working as a policeman at the time and had all the typical cop paraphernalia around. I was extremely cautious when it came to my firearms, but much less so when it came to other tools of the trade. My daughter would routinely play with my handcuffs, listening to the clickety-click as she closed them and watching how they folded up on the chain. I didn't think much about it. It was the early 90s, and I was a child of the era that the only bad toy was one you choked on. Other than that, it was fair game. The day that changed my thought process was the day she got a hold of a set of leg shackles. Now, for those of you who are not in the know, leg shackles are slightly larger than handcuffs, with a significant longer chain so that someone wearing them can shuffle along while wearing them. I was in the kitchen doing who knows what, since back then I didn't cook at all. Hell, my cabinets didn't have food. They had the pieces of a late 70s Harley Davidson I was rebuilding. It was a weird time in my life. I hear my daughter playing in the next room, and then I have the sound of her walking. She's 3 or 4 at the time, so I look to see what she's up to, and she comes into my room with one leg shackle secured around her neck. The other is dragging on the ground behind her, like the end of a leash. I've been shot at, stabbed, rushed into burning buildings, but never in my recollection panicked until right then. I ran over to her, and sure enough, the latch had secured. The only way to get them off was with a key. A key? What a novel idea. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm a cop. I have 2 pair of handcuffs on my duty belt, a handful more in my trunk. I had a key in my key ring, one in my duty belt, an emergency one in my wallet. There was just one small minor problem. That key didn't work. That's right, it seems that when I made the trade for the leg shackles, I failed to check and see if they were the same key. I just assumed they were handcuffs. Weren't they all supposed to be the same? We all know that what you get when you assume. My panic level increased. What the hell should I do? I tried prying on them to pop them open. All that did was cause them to get even tighter. So what do? I called a cop friend, that lived close by. He doesn't have a key that works. I called dispatch. They get a road unit on the air, and he doesn't have a key. I have visions of listening to my daughter scream and cry while I take a hacksaw to the cuff while around her neck. I'm finally able to find someone with a key. It's the jail, of course, the same place I got the leg shackles from, which is 8 miles away. The unit from the jail runs lights and sirens down to my house to help me get the shackle free of her neck. All this time, my daughter wants the damn thing off of her. The funny thing is she didn't panic. I was doing enough of that for both of us. In the end, she was safe. I was happy for her and embarrassed for me. It was a lesson that I'll always remember. Always think through the possibilities. Oh, and don't play with leg shackles. Thanks, everybody. I hope you like this story, and stay tuned for more. We'll do these every other week on Words Off the Street, Cleared for Traffic.